Good afternoon and welcome, ma'am. I think there is only one participant in the today's discussion.
Good afternoon, sir. I think a lot of people are comfortable watching recordings later, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. If that be the case, I think I'll start with this diabetes reversal series today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, diabetes, as I have already mentioned, is not a disease. It's basically a lifestyle problem, and the food that has gotten changed in the last about 30 to 40 years, which is responsible for this. And the first thing that which comes to our mind is, if a person is diabetic, how did he come to know that he is diabetic? Basically, it is the HbA1c test, which the doctors, if they come to know that it is more than 5.7, which 5.7 has been termed as normal. If it is beyond 5.7, then they say, okay, it is, firstly, if it is something between 5.7 and 6.5, they say pre-diabetic. Or if it is more than that, then they term it as diabetic. Now, anyone, the person who has been diagnosed as pre-diabetic or diabetic, start taking medicine. The medicine is basically to increase the insulin, and accordingly a person get habitual for the medicines. Now, what is diabetes? I give a very simple example always of diabetes is of a water tank overflowing. If a water tank is overflowing, overhead water tank is overflowing, the only way the overflow can be stopped is by switching off the supply to it, and the overflow will stop. Now, what is diabetes? Diabetes is overflow of glucose in the bloodstream. Now, this overflow in the bloodstream will happen because of two reasons. Firstly, the glucose which has been absorbed from the food, it is not being taken, it is not being received by each cell where it is supposed to require, where it is required. And this particular situation is known as insulin resistance. The second case where this particular uh, glucose is moving in the blood is wherein the consumption of the glucose is so much that the body requirement is met and the extra is overflowing in the blood because the body doesn't know what to do about this glucose. In nutshell, if someone is eating more than what is required, naturally that particular glucose will be in your blood. So how do we go about the reversal of the diabetes? Now, this a situation where you become insulin resistant. And okay, before I start further, I'm talking about type 2 diabetes. I'm not talking about type 1 diabetes, which happens in children or in the up to 10 to 12 years age group children. So I'm talking of type 2 diabetes. Now, type 2 diabetes, what happens is, due to the lifestyle, due to the food, due to the sedentary lifestyle, due to the food changes that have taken place in last about 50 years, and because of that, the person gets overweight, and there's a lot of glucose in the body. The input is more, and the requirement of the body is less, or probably you are drinking less water. The total absorption and consumption of the glucose in the body reduces. So how do we reverse this situation? Now, to reach a situation where you become diabetic, it doesn't happen in 1 day, 2 day, or 1 year. Let me assure you, it will take minimum 5 years of bad lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, gaining weight, and eating whatever not consciously, which will lead to diabetes. And generally what happens is, one fine day you go in for a blood test and HbA1c, and you realize the readings are beyond the normal, and then you become pre-diabetic and diabetic, or whatever the diagnosis. As I told you, diabetes is not a disease; it is a lifestyle problem. It is your diet problem. It is the exposure to sunlight. It is your exercising which you have stopped. Now, how to reverse this? If some particular uh, chronic disease which is set into your body, it doesn't happen overnight. As I told you, it takes about 5 to 10 years. So a diabetes reversal will minimum take good about 6 months, minimum 6 months. And to make it a permanent thing, you will have to follow this diet 1 year. Now, that is the reason why people are unable to reverse the diabetes, because they are totally dependent on medicines. Now, medicines, as I've told you in time and again, it is very good. It is something like, okay, the person who is diabetic, he doesn't do any lifestyle changes. He keeps on consuming the same food what he was having before being diagnosed diabetic. And just because you are on medication doesn't mean that you should be continuing with your complete same lifestyle, because then you are leading to a problem which will become very, very unmanageable. There are many other, I will not dwell upon what happens if you are diabetic. Now, my total aim today is to how to reverse a diabetic situation when you are diabetic. Now, this diabetic has occurred, and the whole mechanism in the body has set into a particular permanent feature wherein the insulin which is produced has become resistant. Now, when I say insulin resistance, is there is glucose in the blood which provides you energy to the body. The energy consumption is done by each cell: heart cell, brain cell, skin cell, bone cell, each organ, kidney cell. Every cell requires energy, and this energy is given to those cells by the glucose. Now, this glucose is not being given a reception or a welcome by those cells. Now, why this situation is coming? This situation we have reached because those cells are already full of energy. They don't require energy. If they don't require energy, they will stop accepting glucose. Even if the insulin, now what does insulin does? Insulin creates a favorable environment by which the glucose in the blood is absorbed by the cell. It's something like this: a guest who comes to your house is welcomed. But supposing, as a host, you don't want to welcome that guest, can that guest enter your house? No. Similarly, the glucose has to enter the cell, each cell of the body. But those cells have refused to accept them. Now, the moment the cells have refused to accept the glucose which is overflowing in the blood, the body has to then make some arrangement to remove those excess glucose from the blood. So what happens? Your triglycerides will go up, your cholesterol will go up. They will be deposited in the form of fat. They will be deposited in form of fats in the organs. First, they will go to the organs, where organ will, why it is depositing in the organ? Because that is the readily available source of energy for that organ. So you will find there's a kidney deposit, there are heart deposit, there are deposits in the lungs, and gradually what will happen is you will become overweight. The moment you become overweight, the body requirement of other things have increased so much that your BP will shoot up, you will have kidney issues, you will have your lung issues. So now how to get out of it? So the simplest of everything is you have to decrease the intake of glucose. Your body is full of glucose. There is no dearth of glucose in your body. You have to decrease the intake of glucose. How do you decrease the intake of the glucose? You stop eating. The moment you stop eating, what will happen? The pancreas will not produce the bile insulin. The insulin will not be there. There will not be requirement of the cells for the insulin to go to the cells. Gradually, what will happen? Your glucose intake will go down. Your consumption in the normal daily routine, like walking, breathing, digestion, in those places wherever there is a glucose in the cells, they will be consumed. And once you reach a stage where your fat, which is there in the vesicle fat, which is there in your thoracic region or in the organs, or in the places where the energy has been consumed, like your thigh muscles, your calf muscles, your hands. Like supposing you start doing weight training or you start doing your walking. So gradually a state will come where you will reach an equilibrium. Equilibrium in the sense there is a store of glucose in your muscles. So you walk, the moment you walk, the consumption of glucose in the muscles is there, and they get a ready supply of the stored glucose in the muscles. Now, this stored glucose of the muscles, the liver which has got a reserve will fill it up. Now, this filling of the glucose in the daily consumption of your glucose has to be equivalent to the intake of your glucose. So, in nutshell, anyone who is has a very high reading, if he stops eating, like say, okay, if he goes in for, let's say, a 24 hours water fast, so what will happen? His readings will go down. Now, if readings go down below 60, it is an emergency situation. So now even if I tell you a diet, you will have to monitor your glucose reading, because you are taking medication and you are fasting. So the medication will also reduce the sugar, as well as because you are fasting, your glucose level will go down. Body can manage glucose level up to 400, but body will not manage glucose below 60. So the most important aspect of the reversal is you should not be making a sudden change. And the day you decide that you have to do a reversal, you will have to monitor your glucose level, especially immediately take a reading before you sleep, and take a reading immediately the moment you get up. These two readings will guide you for your medication as well as the food intake. Now, it's very simple and very easy to say, okay, if you're high diabetic, you stop eating and your glucose level will come down, you will be not done. But can we survive without eating? Because we have been eating too much, which is one of the reasons why we are diabetic. So the idea is to reduce somehow those food items which are contributing to a spike in glucose. I repeat, spike in glucose in the body. Now, what are the food that give a spike in the glucose in our body? Refined sugar, wheat, rice. Now, they all give you spike in your body because of the glucomex index. Okay, I'll not even go into the technical term, because the glucose in this food is directly absorbed into the bloodstream. That is how the glucose spike is there. Now, supposing you start eating fruits, you go off sugar, refined sugar, you go off wheat, you go off rice, and you start your day with fruits. Now, fruit has got fructose. To absorb that glucose, the body will have to break down fructose. And the absorption of fructose will happen in small intestine. From small intestine, it will go to liver. From liver, it will then make up the deficiency which has come up in the muscles or other organs where the sugar is required. instead of increasing the any other food or removing sugar, wheat and rice, your aim should be to eat the correct food. The second most important thing that comes up is the fiber in your food. The fiber, most important fiber that you can consume every day is in the form of salads. So your salad consumption has to go up. Now, if you're eating normal food, your consumption of glucose has to increase. You have to exercise. And a diabetic person, as I've been telling, has to do a walk for 1 hour 15 minutes. This 1 hour 15 minutes is 75 minutes is to cater for each gram of sugar which is there in each liter of our blood. We have 5 liters of blood in our body. Each normal reading is each 1 liter of blood has 1 gram of sugar is the optimum required. Then your readings are below normal. So to consume that 1 gram of sugar in 1 liter of blood takes 15 minutes of walking. That is why 75 minutes of walking is what I have been suggesting in the group. So you have cut down on sugar, you have cut down on wheat, you have cut down on rice, you have increased your fruit intake, you have started exercising 75 minutes. Now the next question is, if you recollect the deficiency and the nutrient absorption discussion about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you may be eating everything very right. Your nutrient, all types of nutrient intake is very nice. But due to age or due to other toxin in the body, your body is not able to absorb them. So the requirement is you will have to increase the specific nutrient intake to enable the body to carry out the normal functioning of the body in a very easily. If something is wrong, why thyroid thing happen? Thyroid doesn't happen because your T3, T4, TSH doesn't happen because your thyroid is not working. Thyroid is working. It is just that the functioning of a thyroid has increased or decreased due to the deficiency of one particular mineral. So since then this doesn't concern it, I will not dwell upon it. But it is just because of the increased intake of a certain nutrient or decreased absorption of a certain nutrient. So diabetes reversal will only happen when you reduce your glucose intake. I say reduce, not remove. Glucose is a must because our body requires energy. The second most important aspect is you will have to consume that excess which already there in the body. Third is to make an environment and not have any nutrient deficiency. And one of the most important things in everything is sunbathing. You've got to be sunbathing minimum half an hour in the morning, minimum half an hour in the evening. Ideally, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. And the fourth important aspect is all these things will function if your water intake is excellent. Because this function, everything has to move in liquid. So if your water intake is not proper, if your water intake is less than 2.5 liters, you will have a problem. Digestion problem will be there. Then some acid reflux or some acidity problem, or there will be problem in the bowel movement, and then your body will get into clearing that and will not pay attention to the diabetic aspect of it. So keeping that thing in mind, you will have to get your water intake properly. Now, if today someone who's listening my talk for the first time and he's diabetic, he would have switched off by now. I have to reduce eating, I have to exercise, I have to do sunbathing, I have to do adequate water intake. And he would have said, okay, leave it. Two tablets of metformin is enough for me. I have done with it. No. What you got to do is you got to take one complete year. It is not 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It is one complete year. Start with one thing. The first thing to start is to reach a optimum water intake level. A simplest of everything. Our body has got 5 liters of blood. If you drink 1 liter of water, where will this water go? Water will get immediately to the blood. Immediately when it goes to the blood, the sugar percentage in your blood automatically goes down. The excess will go out in the form of, let's say, some breakdown will happen, breathing, or probably it will be washed, get moved from the kidney. So the first and foremost thing for a diabetic person is, now someone if is diabetic can note this down. You start with your proper water intake. Now, what is proper water intake? Proper water intake is you drink minimum 2.5 liters of water. You drink 40 minutes before your meals. You don't drink during the meals, and you drink water only 2 hours after the meals. By just simply drinking water in a timely manner, your readings will come down. You practice this for first month. In the second month, once you've noticed a change by just drinking water at the right time and in the right manner, you will gain confidence, and that is the time that you have to go off the refined sugar in the second month. Once you are off sugar for the second month, the next thing will be, you may have tea without sugar. The other thing from the tea which has to go is your dairy, that is the milk. Because the milk, not only the adulteration part, but milk as such is the one which has actually done the automatic process of insulin resistance in your body. So in the third month, you can then focus on the diet part. And now once you have lost about, let's say, 3 or 4 kgs in 3 months, you will feel a bit lighter and will be more confident to do your 75 minutes of walk. Probably from the first day, you can start with just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even 20 minutes. You start with just 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and gradually within 3 months or 4 months, you may reach 75 minutes a day walk. Once you have done this, you can combine the walk during the sunshine, the morning sunrise and or the evening sunset time, and you will get the adequate sunbathing also. And gradually, you have to reduce your weight as well as the medication. I don't intend repeating those figures for the diet, which I have adequately, I think, numerous times posted in the group. I'll post it again today for anyone who has joined, basically for diabetes. And you can accordingly start taking that particular thing. But you can, for a simple normal thing is, you get up in the morning, start your day with a green leafy vegetable juice, add about 4 almonds and 3 walnuts, which are soaked overnight with it. So you get the protein. You start your day with the protein, and after that, once you feel hungry, whatever is your weight, add a 0 to it, and in grams. Supposing you are 60 kgs, add 0 to 60. So you have to eat 600 grams of fruits. So you, whenever you are hungry, you finish up with these 600 grams of your seasonal fruits. And after that, again, after a gap of 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever you can sustain, you take another bowl of salad, which could be cucumber, carrot, what else you can have? Oh yeah, Shimla mirch, or even grate some cabbage, or you can add whatever the beetroot. Now, some people say, okay, with beetroot, my sugars will rise. You have just 1/4 of it, because beetroot will do much wonders for a diabetic person. And that whole weight should be about 600 grams. And after that, once you have finished with all these things, dinner or the last meal that you are having, you can have anything, but you will have to avoid MRP. The MRP is that milk and milk products, refined products, and the processed food. Once you have done that, now all these things cannot be done in isolation. They have to go in tandem, and all things cannot be started from the very first day. So you will have to do very gradually increase the whole thing and reach an optimum level. Once you gain confidence, once you lose some weight, you have become confident, you have become regular in monitoring your glucose readings. That is the time you start reducing the medication. Now, if you are staying somewhere nearby me, I can tell you what to do. But here in this forum, I will never tell you how to reduce medication. I will always tell you to consult your doctor, because some people may misunderstand what I'm trying to say, and it could be may lead to some other exigencies or emergency. So reduction of medication is entirely with the consultation of your doctor. The most important aspect in the whole this thing is we had bad habits. We were not sleeping well. We were not exercising. We were not eating healthy, which led to this. And this was not 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It was minimum 5 to 10 years, which led to this particular situation. So you have got a lot of bad habits which you have formed. Giving up all of them is very, very difficult. And to gain confidence and give up those bad habits, breathing consciously will greatly help you. Start with 5 minutes. You could be the moment get up early in the morning, you start getting up 5 minutes early for your breathing consciously, or devote 5 minutes before sleeping. Because 6 to 8 hours of deep sleep, if you can do that, it will greatly help with all these things like the walking, diet control, sunbathing, adequate water drinking. And if you have 8 hours of deep sleep or a normal sleep, okay, let's say, I'll not get into deep or light sleep, normal sleep, this whole process will fasten your reversal. So basically, all those 5 things, again, I'll repeat in conclusion, is you start with your adequate water intake, start exercising, control over your diet, and your breathing consciously, monitoring your glucose levels daily, and gradually you will be able to reverse your diabetes. Now, I have finished my just a moment, ma'am. I have finished my part of the topic today, and I would love to take any questions on that. Yeah, any questions? Yeah, you can give in the chat also. Okay, Asha ma'am. Okay, you had reversed your diabetes. Okay, your question is, sir, I am diabetes free for last 1 year, 1 month, given up medicine for a month now. Interestingly, I forgot to take my BP medicine because both medications were in the same box. After 15 days, I realized my BP was in range, so of both medications now. Fantastic, ma'am. Fantastic. That's very nice. Actually, the adequate water intake will also get your BP to normal. Very nice, ma'am. And but the most important thing is you will have to continue this for good about 1 year to make a permanent change in the body. What happens with diabetes is the body has automatically made a change in the body to make the body insulin resistant to avoid other complications. So you will have to continue with the same thing for good about 1 year, so the body reverses the whole thing naturally in the body.
Thank you, sir. I was working on diabetes, but I was very surprised that the BP also got rectified. जबकि वो COVID से चल रहा था. I had been taking medication for 4 years now. BP medication.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what was the medication, ma'am?
Telma 40.
No. So what you basically, ma'am, BP is one thing. What happens is, okay, you may have reversed your diabetes, but the damage which is causing the BP may not have got cleared. But if you follow the same thing, what generally happens with diabetic reversal is, which I've seen in many people, which I have been in contact with, within 6 months, they'll be very strict, everything, and very fine, all your medication gone. And after 6 months, the comeback is very, very early, ma'am. Within just 1 month of bad habit, it's just back again. And this time it is very severe. Diabetes is very severe. Because you see, the issue was not diabetes. The issue was the body autoimmune system, which made it in a manner to help you in the body to sustain. But the moment body changes, then body realizes, अरे यार मैंने गलती कर दी यार, ये पहले वाला काम सही था, तो वो इस बार बहुत permanent change कर देता है, and which becomes very, very difficult to reverse it. So at least 1 year, minimum 1 year, you have to continue with this diet. Okay. Now you can. Now I don't say that. Okay, you may have something, you must have overcome a lot of habits. You have, okay, fine. If you want to have something which you think is bad for you, have it one day, but take care very next day. Within 24 hours you should take. Like if you feel like eating jalebi, I say binge on it, have it on one Saturday, but Sunday don't eat anything. It should not go beyond Sunday. So that you should actually try and do it. And the most important thing is, in this whole process, if you've been breathing consciously, you will become aware of those signals. A simple thing in this today's weather change, you will realize you're not feeling hungry. You're not feeling hungry because monsoons, what happens is the digestive fire goes down. Automatically don't feel hungry. So now this signal will not come to a person who's already diabetic. For him, it is hunger pangs 24/7. But if you have reversed diabetes, you will realize that you're not feeling hungry. If you're not feeling hungry, why are we eating?
I did realize this, sir. For the last week, 10 days, I'm having just one meal. I don't feel like eating the other one, so I end up not eating.
Absolutely. That is the right way to do it, ma'am. And you realize one more thing is, there's a weather change. The monsoons have come in. All of a sudden, there was a very high, we were summers. We were used to drinking water. The water intake decreases because we feel it's monsoon, we don't require. The water intake is same. You cannot decrease the water intake in monsoon. Probably if you are sitting in the AC environment, your water intake will go up. So, and the other thing is the temperature of the water, which I don't want to, but now since it is more concerned to you, ma'am, please try avoiding cold water. No fridge water, only earthen pot water.
Okay, sir.
Only earthen pot water. And if you can take warm water, have a flask filled with hot water, mix it with a normal water, and it could be that lukewarm. If you start having that, I'm telling you, this the complete monsoon will go cold and cough free.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I'll start that. Thank you.
I just wanted to make a point here, sir.
Sure,
there can be no diabetic reversal. Now, I am without medication for the last 2.5 years. I used to be on insulin before also. So, but I feel that if I slip up, it will show in my reading. So I have to. Of course, now I have the luxury of, enjoying a slice of jalebi or a slice of barfi. It doesn't show impact on my diabetic glucose levels. But but I have to be vigilant throughout my life, I think. I can't say that, diabetes is reversed and that I can live a normal life. I have to be disciplined with whatever you said. Only then I can be medication free.
So what you have done is, instead of balancing it out, you have accepted it that okay, this is the minimum I can do.
Actually, according to my doctor, I've reversed my diabetes. But according to me, I don't think I have to always be disciplined in what I eat. I can have sometimes a little bit of, whatever I like. I have basically a sweet tooth, so I can indulge. It doesn't impact my glucose as before, but I don't say that I'm diabetic reversed. Even though the doctor says now for the 2.5 years you're off medication, you have reversed your diabetes, I don't accept that.
Ma'am, I think the key question here is what we consider normal. For me, I would consider having millets is normal for me. So I don't think I'm giving up anything by not eating wheat every day. I've given up my liking for wheat because of what it does to my body.
I don't
Anything
have
that's
wheat.
not
I
healthy
don't
for
have
me, I
milk.
don't crave it anymore simply because it's not for me. It doesn't work for me. So I
That's
think
exactly what I'm
somewhere
saying.
we
I
have
don't
to
have
change
milk.
the
I don't
mindset
have wheat.
that we are giving up things to be normal, to be healthy. I think thoda sa paradigm shift hame, it'll go a long way. Yeah.
I don't have milk. I don't have wheat. I don't have rice. But being from the Konkan region, we
Yeah.
have the affinity towards rice. So, but the doctor said you can have rice, but they call it crystal rice, means you cook it the previous day, you keep it in the fridge, and then you can have it. So the starch is what resistant starch.
No,
But
no, ma'am.
okay,
Ma'am, don't do that. Don't do that.
so I don't normally have it. Maybe
I'll tell.
once on a Sunday. Okay. But then,
So
it's always fruits, vegetables, and salads, and one protein. So that's my life. And I enjoy it actually. But
I'll tell
okay.
you. I will tell you what he has also told you. He has not put you on medication. He has put you on insulin.
No, I'm not on insulin. I'm not on anything.
Okay.
I'm not on anything. I was on insulin 2.5 years ago. Now I'm completely medication free, including insulin. I am
Okay. Okay.
normal. My blood sugar levels are absolutely normal.
So there is no harm, ma'am. There is no harm. You see, if you have been able to maintain the input and output, and body has got no excess glucose, that means you have already reversed it. You have come
Yeah,
back
but
to normal.
but if I have glucose, it may come back, right?
No, ma'am. I'll tell you how will it come back. It will come back when you have a spike in the glucose. Now this spike
Okay.
is from 100 to 300, from 300 to 100, from 100 to 200. This is spike. Now, when you just do conscious eating, from 100 it will come to 200. The whole day it will remain 200. This is much healthy than getting it spike from 100 to 300 and then falling into 200 or 100.
But 200 is very high, no?
No, ma'am.
200 is not high.
Ma'am, 400 is not high. Ma'am, 400 is not high.
My God. I thought
500 is not.
200 was very high.
Ma'am, just tell me, if you are in a dire circumstances, you are in a jungle, and there is
Yeah.
a tiger in front of you. You
Correct.
know that time what is your glucose reading? It
It
will
will
be
be high because of stress.
no, because of requirement. That is where
Okay.
you're going wrong. Because your sugar readings will go beyond 500 because you have sensed it. There is a danger. There is a requirement. Now you have to run. So what body has done is body has increased the glucose level and now is telling you, okay, run. Don't worry. I have a lot of glucose.
Okay.
So the sugar level rising to 200. You are a CEO of a company, and you are going to address the annual general meeting. They're all about 2 lakh shareholders are there.
Admiral Rush.
So what will happen? You require that extra adrenaline and
Rush.
extra glucose in you. The
Yeah.
moment you reach the stage, your glucose level will be 500 plus. Gradually, it will remain there 500 plus for a longer time. Now, what will happen? The one day you decide, okay, I want to have jalebi. You took jalebi. The moment you were eating jalebi, it shot up to 300. You said, okay, kachori bhi kha lete hain. It shot up to 500. And all of a sudden you became conscious. Chalo, before anything happened, let me take a tablet. Or
no tablet.
No.
Okay.
Okay, you haven't taken a tablet. You became conscious and immediately forgo the next meal.
Yeah.
Now this 300 will gradually taper down to 100 by lunchtime. And by lunchtime, you take 2 glasses of water. By 5 o'clock in the evening, it will remain constant at 100.
So 200 is not a spike, actually. It is not a danger zone.
Ma'am, 500 is not a 500 is a spike. 500 is not a danger zone. What danger zone is 60 and below.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Ma'am, a person can survive with 800 reading, 600
But I
reading.
wouldn't like to go there.
You will not even come to know that you have reached there because you're not taking reading of those times. Body is now acting as in the interest of the body. So there's nothing like what you have done now is you have naturally come to a point where the body is doing what exactly it should be doing. When body becomes insulin resistance, body is what trying to do is again good for the body only. Diabetes is again a condition for good of the body, if for to prolong your life and in a long run shorten your life.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
सर एक क्वेश्चन था, मैंने कहीं पे सुना था कि सुबह की रोटी शाम को खाओ गेहूं की तो वो डायबिटीज के लिए it is supposed to be safe or good, or it's even advocated. How far is that true?
Ma'am, the first and foremost is कि हमने जो आज तक सीखा है, हमारे घर में बासी रोटी कभी नहीं खाते. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ दादी नानी. ये आजकल के डॉक्टर तो ये 100 साल वाले हैं, बट हमने जो पूरा बचपन से सीखा है. और एक बासोड़ा करके एक सेलिब्रेशन होता है जिसके अंदर पूरे दिन का खाना एक दिन पहले बनाया जाता है और अगले दिन खाया जाता है इन राजस्थान. Now the whole thing of this is the gut bacteria.
Okay.
जब बासा खाना खाते हैं तो उसमें गट वो बैक्टीरिया बढ़ जाता है. जो बासोड़ा होता है, बासोड़ा is I think somewhere in the peak summers or somewhere, I don't know exactly date, but it doesn't come in the monsoon. It is in the summers, before summers. When again a spring or somewhere the weather is changing, then basoda comes, or immediately after winter, I think winter and somewhere it comes.
No, sir, it's 1 week after Holi.
Yeah, though I don't know exactly. So it is basically the change of weather. In winters, what has happened is the gut bacteria goes down because of the winter, because of the exposure going out. So this basoda is there. You prepare the whole food, keep it in the home, in the earthen pot or covered, and next day you eat it. So what happens? This particular thing has increased the gut bacteria. So it suits us. Like monsoons, I think I was telling someone, monsoon first rains, we all feel like having pakoras. Now, what is pakoda? Fritters. What is pakoda? It is basin. It is vegetable. So the idea is to have something which is infection free. You have fried it. There is no infection in that. You have eaten only basil, which is again only protein or any vegetable. So with the monsoons, there is a lot of infection will come up. With those infection, the change in weather, you have to increase your immunity. And the best way to increase immunity is reduce eating wheat and rice. The moment wheat and rice is reduced from the, and millets, I keep saying, millets is something which you can eat whole year and nothing will happen to you because of the simple thing, the fiber content. I can give you a simple example. Like, let's say your house is clean. So next day cleaning, what do? You just put 2 or 3 drops of some detergent and the house is again clean. The swapping is done by 2-3 drops of a cap of detergent. But imagine there was a rainfall and you had about 4 or 5 guests at your home and they came inside and the whole house is dirty in the night. Next day morning, you will put good about 50 to 70 milliliters of detergent into it. Similarly, when there is a weather change, the body has been dirty because of one particular eating in one particular weather. So the weather change is this condition wherein a lot of guests have come to your house. You require a complete increased detergent, and those increased detergent are lot of kada, kadi patta, neem, your methi decoction, or the jeera or ajwain. The beauty of the Indian food is all these things that we are eating daily. It is just in the change of weather. You can make, you can increase one quantity in one particular dish. आज दाल में ऐसा करो, थोड़ा 1 चम्मच एक्स्ट्रा जीरा डाल दो, अगले दिन एक अजवाइन का पराठे बना लो, which is more अजवाइन, और put your अजवाइन in your roti. काली मिर्ची अजवाइन मिला के घी के अंदर उसकी आप रोटी बना लो. So what you have done, you have gradually increased the detergents which are going in your body. They all are basically your detergents. वरना हम रोज खाने में हमारे कौन सा खाना है जो बिना जीरा, बिना अजवाइन, बिना मेथी, बिना राई और बिना हींग के बन सकता है? बन ही नहीं सकता इंडियन फूड. So we are eating a lot of things. The only problem is when we have to eat, when there is a change of weather, when there is a change of season, just increase it to a little bit extent, 3-4 days. The moment these monsoons have come, the first week you should increase the those decoction in the morning. और कुछ नहीं तो छोटा टुकड़ा अदरक का चबा लो, थोड़ा टुकड़ा हल्दी का चबा लो, किसी दिन खाने में हल्दी बढ़ा दो, या आटा गूंद रहे हो उसमें आधी चम्मच हल्दी डाल के रोटी बना दो. तो gradually you will have to keep changing. And the best part of it is, if you recollect, ये दादी नानी used to do it very frequently actually. रोज रोटी सब्जी दाल कोई नहीं खाता था. You will be surprised to know, एक दिन आलू, मतलब you have, if you recollect the food eaten in your grandparents' home, you will find आपने आलू की सब्जी भी खाई है सूखी परांठों के साथ, आपने अचार के साथ भी अजवाइन वाले परांठे खाए हैं, आपने गोभी के साथ सर्दियों में खूब खाया होगा, और वही गोभी अभी पूरे 365 डेज मिलती है. आप समझ में खा के देखो, आप बीमार पड़ जाते हो. That is where the seasonal and encompassing all the things in the available in your region, which will help you.
सर एक और मेरा छोटा सा क्वेश्चन था, वो डॉक्टर खादर प्रोटोकॉल में वो जो कहते हैं कि 1 हफ्ते ये वाला काढ़ा, फिर 1 हफ्ता ये वाला काढ़ा, वो चेंज कर करके लेते रहो. तो जनरली कहते हैं कि जब आयुर्वेदिक कुछ काढ़े वगैरह लेते हैं तो you should give a break after a few months and then restart. So is that needed in the Khadar protocol, or that's not a kadha and it can be taken without a break?
It can be taken without the break. The idea behind that is, there's let's say, supposing there are 7 types of kadhas, and you go for 1 kadha a day, suppose it. Now, there has to be an optimum amount which has to become effective. So that effectiveness will vary from person to person. Probably if I have 3 days, probably I'll reach that optimum level and I'll get okay. If someone is sick, let's say, he will require 6 days. Someone who probably doesn't have that particular any problem associated with that kada, so that will not do any harm or not will it give any advantage, but he'll take it for 10 days. Someone is very seriously ill. So what the 10 days it refers to, or I think he says 1 week, he says
7 days.
7 days. So in 7 days, what happens is a person, whosoever he is, whether immune system is 1 or immune system is 10, in 7 days, that particular decoction will give the optimum level for it functioning in the body. It is for all. In the protocol, he couldn't have mentioned, okay, क्या आपको age इतनी है, आपका ये बीमारी है, आप 2 दिन लीजिए. That can happen only in a personal consultation. So give a protocol. He said, okay, let's follow it for 7 days, wherein everyone will get optimum level of each type of decoction and will clear everything. Now a gap of it. The gap of it is, when they say, is of 21 days. 21 days is a habit forming. So that gap is for the 21 days. Where you have one particular food for more than 21 days, the body then what happens is does an autoimmune change for that particular system. There you require a change for after a month. That's why they say after a month you change it. But here you are changing every week, so it will not. Any other question? I think we don't have any question. Thank you very much, and it was pleasure interacting with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.